What's up, YouTube? Coming to you guys from beautiful Portland, Oregon. I'm down here by what I believe is the river, but I think it might run out to the ocean. You know what? I'll taste it for you. Definitely fresh water. Probably got a few parasites just then, so hopefully this isn't my last video. But just want to make a quick video for you guys. Portland, Oregon, absolutely beautiful. I love the architecture here. I love the high rises right down on the water. Just super awesome. This is the type of city I would love to live in. Just from driving in it for the past maybe hour or two. The traffic was crazy, but beautiful high rises, all glass high rises with beautiful balconies, right, looking over the water. People skiing up and down the river all day long. Like, excellent city. Probably one of my more favorite cities that I've been in. I've been all up and down the east and west coast and everything in the middle. So yeah, just thought I'd make a quick video for you guys here in regards to that and share it with you here. I don't know if you can see all that back there, but I mean, you've got these monster barges, huge thing back there. It looks almost like a shrimp boat of some type. But anyway, and see if I can catch some of that beautiful sunset behind me. The sunset's just beginning to drop behind the trees there, so super cool. Hope all you guys are doing well out there. I think I'll just maybe touch on a quick subject here that I haven't covered in any of my other videos. Pretty much, and that would be the Mandela effect. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are noticing it. I'm not sure if I'm completely 100% sold on it. It seems very interesting. I can see a lot of the parallels people are making. They're talking about, like, you can go look it up yourself, like the Berenstain Bears and Berenstain Bears, stuff like that. One thing I believe is that anything is possible in our reality. So I don't try to discredit anything. I just haven't studied the Mandela effect quite enough to go ahead and say that I completely commit to it. Sorry my videos are so windy all the time, but it's just kind of how it goes when you're out in nature. So anyway, the Mandela effect seems pretty interesting. A lot of people are making pretty interesting parallels, and they're finding a lot of stuff about it. You can look it up on YouTube, and a lot of people, I'm not sure if it's a bloodline thing that people are noticing this, or just empaths are beginning to notice this. One thing I believe, like, I'm not sure what's going on with CERN and stuff like that, or with the quantum computers, the D-Wave computers. That's something that definitely caught my eye, because actually the inventor of these computers claimed to be able to go into other dimensions, okay? That's leaving our reality. They go into other dimensions, they find resources and bring them back for use here in our reality. When I heard the inventor make this claim, it just really got my attention, because that's a very bold claim to be able to say that, hey, you know, we're going into another dimension. That's like the stuff you saw in cartoons as a kid. You know, I'm going into another dimension, I'm getting all these resources, and I'm going to bring it back and make this world a different place. And it was usually an evil character that was doing that. So I don't know if I'm just kind of brainwashed, and I don't know if I really believe in that we should really cut into our current fabric that we live in, so to speak, go into other dimensions and harvest resources and bring them back into our reality. I just don't know if that's the best idea. I'm not sure if you're going to bring back some sort of a breadcrumb of wickedry, evilness, darkness, something that we cannot handle, something we cannot keep control of as humans in our basic human reality that was kind of built for us, and the other things that are in nature that live here in our three-dimensional world. So I don't know, I just thought that was pretty interesting. The Mandela effect, that's another interesting thing that's going on right now. There's so many different conspiracy theories that are being tossed around all over the place right now. And I mean, I think it all probably started with 9/11. You know, everybody kind of started really just digging into all different types of subjects around 9/11, maybe slightly before that. I experienced some really weird shit as a teenager, so I understood that possibly the world that's been constructed around me, and that I see on a day-to-day basis in regards to people, may not be exactly what I thought it was, or was raised to think it was. So I've always just kind of been skeptical of our reality, of the people that are in charge here. I just found all these crazy little ball looking, it's like these weird golf ball looking things on the beach here. That's pretty trippy. Sorry to get off subject, but I mean they're freaking everywhere. I don't know what they are, so I'm gonna leave them alone. But anyway, or maybe we can go clean the beach up sometime. I don't know what that is, but I've always been kind of skeptical of our reality. And then when I saw 9/11, I'm not super crazy off the deep end on it, but there are a lot of questions in regard to that situation and what happened there on that day. There's a lot of people that their families died in that tragedy, and I think that there's a lot of questions that could be answered that haven't been answered, like building number 7, how that building just fell. You know, it didn't get hit by an airplane, none of that, and it just fell right into its own footprint, which has never happened in the history of architecture. A building has never just fallen, blam, without some sort of help. And we're just being told that, you know, it just got rattled, but none of the other buildings fell. Just that one. It had all the CIA documents, had a bunch of Enron documents. It had tons of documents in regards to corporate corruption, investigations that were going on in that regard, demolished. The weird thing was my grandmother was in the hospital, and she died. She was Rh negative, by the way, and she died the night before September 11th, like, or maybe the day before. I know my mom was on an airplane on September 11th because I remember I was just learning to climb trees, and I remember the first plane hit the tower, and I was in the top of a tree, and the guy was like, "Dude, you'll never believe what happened. The plane just ran into a skyscraper in New York," and I flipped out, dude. Like, I came out of that tree so fast, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" And I think just like everybody else in America and around the world, we're like, "What the hell's going on?" And I actually called the day off at that moment. I didn't know where my mom was at. I was like, I just wanted to talk to my mom, make sure she was okay, make sure she had nothing to do with whatever happened there. And it was a while before I was actually able to talk to her. I'm not sure where her plane was routed to, but she was actually in flight while the other planes were hitting the towers. So that's a very monumental time for me, and something that I can really remember. And I thought it was really strange that my grandmother died right before 9/11, being an Rh negative. And I was just told by other family members that she just felt like something wasn't right in the hospital before she died. And that she was just, I guess she was in a lot of fear. She's really scared, and she wasn't really scared about like so much like the afterlife and stuff like that. She was scared that she was in a weird situation. And that's one thing I definitely believe. I don't really trust the medical industry at all, especially when you're talking about elderly people. Elderly people are still receiving money from the government. They're probably, you know, what is that you get when you get old? You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, everybody, Social Security, that's it. So, I mean, old people are getting Social Security. There's probably millions of dollars they can make off of just, you know, taking out older people later on in life. Although they helped build this country, helped structure it when it was a piece of shit and we didn't have anything. It just seems like they're kind of just checking people out just for the financial convenience. So yeah, that's my biggest thing. So I wouldn't say that not September 11th made me a conspiracy theorist. I would just say that I had always speculated what was going on here, thought things were kind of strange, and never really trusted it. Like, I've seen really corrupt shit happen where I came from. It just blew my mind, and it changed my life. And I was only 17 years old at the time. I talk about it in some other videos. I'm not going to rant on it about now. But yeah, that's pretty much it here. If you guys want to look up the Mandela effect, feel free to do that. I believe the butterfly effect, I might try to put some of her videos down here too. She's pretty good. She covers all kinds of stuff. She talks about Mandela effect, about empaths, and just about people just generally trying to wake up here. Like, if someone tells me they've completely reached enlightenment, like, that's the last person I'm talking to. Like, someone who has all the answers, I can't really talk to them either. I believe that life is a question, it's a journey, it's something you're constantly learning about. So that's kind of my thing. One thing that I will mention real quick in this video before I wrap it up is Max Spears. I had a friend of mine send a Max Spears video to me today, and I thought it was pretty interesting. But one thing I noticed about Max Spears is he would answer every single question. He never didn't have the answer. And I'm very careful, like, I guess because I grew up in the church and I saw a bunch of weird shit in the church growing up too. And I'm not saying that all churches are weird, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I went to my fair share of weird churches as a kid. And so I'm just really careful when someone has all the answers for me. I'd rather people just answer honestly on the things they can have an answer for. And if they're not sure about something, that's okay too. I mean, I will never discredit somebody because they don't know the answer to every single question that's thrown at them. But that's one thing I noticed about Max Spears. Much respect to the guy. about most of his stuff. I hope he rests in peace, and I hope everything's fine with him beyond this life, because I think he passed away. But one thing I did notice about him was he had an answer to every single question. You asked him about the moon, he had an answer about that. You asked him about the water ripples out here, he had an answer about that. So I think that, and then you kind of just start to see like how fractured he was mentally. And I'm not saying he was stupid or anything like that, not at all. But you could tell that he had been through a lot of stuff that had fractured him and wrecked him on a mental level. So I thought that was really interesting when I watched that video, and I watch a lot of Max Spears' speeches. I mean, I know I'm all over the place in my conversations and even on some of these videos, but if you watch some Max Spears stuff, you'll probably be able to kind of pick up on what I'm talking about. But I think that's about it, really. I just wanted to kind of share you guys a little bit of my view here in Portland. Give you a quick little panorama. Anyway, anytime I can get by water while I'm out here on the road, I pretty much do it. I mean, like I said, I grew up on the beach in Florida. I love swimming. I'm kind of cautious about swimming in cities. We have all kinds of reservoirs and lakes in Denver, but you couldn't pay me $1 million to swim in any of them. The health department actually tells you not to swim in the lakes and stuff around Denver. So I'll wrap this video up because I think some people come down the beach. Hope all's well. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I'll see you on my trippy travels.